Good deal. Okay, we're recording now. So the planner, there's still time for that. A combination of 3 ambassadors or customers. So if you haven't done that, there's still time before the end of the month. And I saw the sneak peek pictures and they look so good. So we're excited about that. We're going to start a team calendar beginning in December. And I think Chastity posted about that. We talked about it quite a bit and we can all add to it. It's Google Calendars and I'll post the link to it in the comments of this call when I post the recording so that you guys can see that. And it's going to be great. It's going to help us, like, we can print it out, we can add to it, we can put it into our phone. It can alert us when things happen that have to do with the team. It's really going to help streamline the whole team group fun together stuff. I also was going to mention 7-day challenge started today, which is going really, really well. Teresa Broadway is leading that, and it's going along beautifully. Beth Ann posted a testimony in there. It was great. Love that. And it just, if you guys are in that group, be sure to be a part and comment and post, like, or just comment on the posts that happen, because the more involvement we have there, the more the people are going to be excited about it. Okay, so something that's been on my heart, and I don't want to take too much time because I know we all have busy evenings. I understand that. So my little notes here. I was listening to a sermon which inspired the little, I don't know what went off in my head, but I'm going to try to portray it in a way that's understandable. 'Cause sometimes my thoughts make sense to me and then I start speaking that. Does anyone else have this problem? You start speaking them and you're like, oh, that doesn't make any sense at all. Like, at all to anybody. So I'm going to try. Y'all just bear with me. Hi, Chrissy. So praying for God to change the situation, and being blind to the fact that he's given us all that we need to change the situation. So the way I was applying this to the business is that the example they were giving was that some people go through life, and if you ask them, how can I pray for you? A lot of times the things that they're going to share are, I would call it, well, I'm not even going to say that. I'm going to say they want the situation to change. And sometimes God's answer to the situation is he's going to change you, right? So in this business, a lot of times if we're feeling stuck or we feel like we don't know what to do next, and we pray, God, just make it happen for me, which is great. It's great because he wants to bless us that way, but he's given us all the tools that we need to change the situation, because we can walk out there and talk to anybody. We can share it in a store. We know that people around us are suffering with blood sugar issues and weight and blood pressure and cholesterol and inflammation. And we know all this stuff. Our problem is that we are unwilling to do the work necessary to make the thing happen. We would rather it just happen to us. So sometimes if we're at a standstill or we're not making the progress that we want to, it's because we aren't willing to take that step, even though it's right there in front of us. So all day long, your upline and your teams around you say, all you have to do is this. You just reach out to 3 new people a day. You follow up with 2 new people a day. You talk to an ambassador, and all these certain ways that we can track, which helps because we need that consistency. We do. But unless we're willing to do that, then it doesn't matter. I feel like sometimes that's just asking God for something that he's already given us. So that's one encouragement tonight is don't be afraid to just step out and do the thing that you know you have to do. And then you can never blame it on anybody else. You can't blame it on anything. You can't blame it on your situation or the people that you know, because there's a lot of people in this world. And sometimes it's our unwillingness to go and talk to them. So that was one thing. One of the things that they were talking about was it's like asking for water, but being unwilling, even if you're sitting by the well, to go and draw it up. Like, how tacky is that? If you're dying of thirst and you're sitting by a well, but you're not willing to drop the bucket in the water and draw it up, that's sad. And to me, it really hit me like a ton of bricks, because sometimes I am guilty of that. I'm just tired. I have a lot going on. I'm working, and I know you guys have kids. You're like, you have no idea what you're talking about. But I mean, I fill my time. I grew up with 11 brothers and sisters, so being busy was just a part of our life. And I'm imagining with kids, I'm going to be really like, I don't know how anybody does this. But right now, sometimes I feel like I'm just too tired. You know, I'm in a store, and usually I can be bubbly and happy, but sometimes I just can't. Sometimes I'm just tired. And I feel like God's like, you know what? That's really not an excuse. If you want to make it happen, you'll make it happen. So it hit me like a ton of bricks. Thought I'd share it with you guys. Commitment is a hard booger to conquer, but it's also necessary. A lot of things are happening lately, kind of in Plexcess. We had at one of our one of our great Plexcess people, we called him that Plexcess guy, he left Plexcess. And sometimes people just, they're jumpers. They're not willing to stay committed. And we want to be committed people. We want to be committed to what we really believe in, these products and these people and the teamwork and the culture that we have here and the relationships that we're building and what's really helping people at a deep root level. And if we can't press through the hard times, then we shouldn't be allowed to enjoy the good times. It's just not fair. So we've got to have commitment. I think that's really, really important. I've had a girl on my team for a while, and she'll get on board and get so excited, and then all of a sudden she'll just vanish and she'll disappear. And I just have so much faith every time she gets back involved. I'm like, I believe in you. This last time was so good. She was doing the work every day. I was in so many 3-way chats with her, and it was amazing. But she didn't stick out. She just vanished, and I don't know what happened. But we can't be that way. We have to stay committed and believe and just do it because it's necessary. So commitment is really important. Sometimes we quit too soon. Sometimes we put the work in and we think we should be seeing the results faster than we are. That's not always the case. Sometimes it just takes longer, and we have to trust the process. Sometimes we give up right before we reach the peak of that mountain and start floating down the other side. So just be careful with that. If you're working really hard and you're not seeing the results that you'd like to see, I promise you they're coming. If you keep doing the work, the results will come. That's just the nature of how this works. I was writing down these examples, and I'm kind of laughing at myself now. Sometimes I just don't know where these examples come. But let's say you decide you want kids. You would love to have children, but you have them. They go through the baby stage, and they hit 2 years old, and they're just terrible. Because some 2-year-olds are just terrible. I mean, my little brother, I know you guys have seen this all the time, but it was like, if you told him the sky was blue, he would tell you it was purple. And you're just like, what? What if you quit on him? What if you just quit? You never saw them through that tough time to see the beauty of what they can be when they're 5 and they're so excited to learn math. Or I don't know how many kids are excited to learn math. I was excited to learn math, so I say that. But just anything. They're so excited to learn. What if you quit on them when they were 2? You never got to see the results of that. What if when they turned 16, and they're terrible? They're really terrible. I was a terrible 16-year-old. I was so rebellious. And I don't know why looking back, but what if you just quit on them? You're just like, I'm just tired of this. You know it all anyway. So just go your own way, do your own thing. How's that going to work out for them? Not very well. And not well for you either, because you've lost your kid. You never got to see the results of all your hard work. So you don't do that. You just don't do that in life. It's not an option. So, I feel like it's the same thing with whatever you do. If you don't commit to it, you're not going to see the good results of it. If you do and you work hard at it all the time, you will reap the results of it. It's just how it works. Sometimes the results are small, but they're still there. So that's kind of one of the things I was thinking of. A couple things, if you're a new ambassador and you're excited to get started, we have some great tools for that. I would suggest definitely with your upline doing a call with them just to get some ideas of what can I do on a daily basis. If you're a planner, that's going to be helpful for you. What can I do on a daily basis that's going to grow my business? I don't have a lot of time. I just need to know what to do every single day that's going to grow my business. If you're that person, we have options for that. I will comment with some tracking sheets that may help you. And if you follow that tracking sheet to the best of your ability every single day, then you will reap results from it. And we have a great document in Team Plexcess for duplicating. So once you start getting ambassadors, you can teach them to do the same thing. Even if you feel unqualified and not prepared for this, there are plenty of things we've put together in this team that will help you develop your business. I would say be a planner aheader. That's not a word. Plan ahead. By 40 days. John Maxwell plans 40 days ahead so that he never hits the beginning of a month without a plan for that first week of the month. I think that's genius. I don't know why I never thought of that. Sometimes I just need people to be like, think outside your little box. That was great. I planned 40 days ahead, and I started my next 40-day ahead plan in the last week of my 40. So I planned my next 40 days in the beginning of the month instead of feeling that end of the month craziness like, oh, I don't know what I'm doing at the beginning. I got to rush and get all this together. And no, I was golden. I knew exactly what I was doing for the next week. It was great. So this team planner, we're going to do them in 2-month increments, and that's going to be so helpful. You can just fill in the squares if you want with all the other things that you have going on with your business. I suggest having a list of people on hand that you don't have to think about, okay, I'm going to reach out. I have to think about who I'm going to reach out to today. No, you know the next people on your list. That helps so much because you're not having to think so much. You just do. You have a message prepared, you customize it to that person, and you just do every single day. It just simplifies life if you don't have to think every single day about what you're going to do. It should take 15 minutes tops to reach out to people and follow up with people. And then you have time. If you do that first thing in the morning, man, it's out of the way. It doesn't weigh on your brain all day. You just get to go on with life, and then who knows what might happen. So all that to say, just plan ahead. It's really helpful. Okay, so the planner, just in summary, the planner, still earn it, guys. 3 customers and ambassadors this month. So if you had 2 customers this month, get that 3rd one because you want that planner. I know a lot of people have earned it already. I'm excited for when they get it in the mail. It's going to be really cool. They have roadmapped your success in this business in that calendar by listening to us. All of us be like, this is what really helped us. This is what helped them. All of their everybody got to have a part in this. So you're going to see one Plexcess in this planner. You're going to love it. So if you're close, get it. If you're not close, it's 3 people. We can make it happen before the end of the month. I'm a firm believer in good, big goals. Okay, so the 7-day challenge that started today, if you're in that, definitely play a part, participate. We could use all the help we can get in there. Just validating people. We need that validation. I'm going to comment with the tracking sheet and the calendar with this recording so that you guys have access to that. Next team call, again, it's next Monday. Whoever does it, they're either going to do it 11 o'clock in the morning or 7 at night. So prepare for that. Prepare your teams for that. Get people on it. If you get people on these calls, they'll be much more involved in the business. So I encourage you, if you have team members, get them on. Encourage your friends, your accountability partners. And make friends in this group, guys. These are your people, and you're going to love all of them. If you just take some time, don't be afraid to just chat with some of them. I was scrolling through the group today, and I saw a few people that I haven't chatted with in this group. You know, we all came back together in the big team group. Sometimes that's a little overwhelming, but it's not. We're a happy little family here. So don't be afraid if somebody strikes you as, oh, that'd be a fun person to get to know. Send them a message. We're all here for each other, and we want to get to know each other. That's what the beauty of this group is that we have relationships with one another. And that's what's going to carry us through, especially the hard times, because we have some other people we can lean on. Sometimes it's hard to lean on your upline when you do that because you don't want to let them down. So have other people in this group that you're friends with that you can just kind of gel off of, and iron sharpens iron kind of a thing. So I encourage that. Commitment. Let's be committed as a team and as a whole. We can do this. We're all here for each other, and we're here to see each other succeed. And there's nothing that gives me more joy than to see people ranking, people getting new customers, people getting new ambassadors. It's fun. It's a lot of fun to be a part of this. And just be careful not to look for a situation change, but look for the change in yourself. When we conquer ourselves, we've conquered so much. And we can do that every single day. And it'll give us big joy to conquer the problems we have in us. And just pray for the whole thing. God cares about the little stuff. He really does. You know, if you're at the end of your rope and you said, I've exhausted all my options, just pray about it. God's got that one for you. So, you know, I know you've worked hard. Let me just help you out with this one. Of course, he does with all of them. But what I'm saying is just don't be afraid to lean on God for that a little. So commitment, pray for God to help, but don't try to change the situation. Be involved in the team stuff. When there's team group posting going on, just be involved. You don't have to be a silent voice. Everyone has a voice in this, not just people who have been in it longer. You know, we're here for each other. So continue on that way. Guys, thank you for 20 minutes of your time. I'm excited to be a part of this group and get to know all of you. Is there any questions? You guys can, wait, let me unmute before I do that. Manage participants. Unmute all. Oh, hello, I can hear people. Any questions?
What a great idea. Use phone views.
Anybody? You can write them too in the chat box if that would be easier. I meant to mention, it would help the people who are leading these trainings, and a lot of people, eventually you'll probably get drawn into it. promise you that everyone is going to have a voice, but it would help to know what people feel like they could use help in. If we can target as a group some of those concerns, and you can get opinions of some people who have been doing it a long time if you haven't, and we can all, even if you have ideas, even if you haven't been doing it a long time, if you can share ideas, it would be very helpful to know what people are struggling with so that we can target that stuff. So don't be afraid right now to send questions, anything like that. And even if we can't work through it right now together, we can get other people involved and make sure that you have plenty of suggestions for how to maybe get through that. So if you have some of those things, now is a perfect time to share them. Okay, go.
I guess my only question would be, I'm Chrissy Jenkins. I don't know. I just see y'all's faces. I guess my only question would be, as far as following up, how often do y'all, like, you've contacted somebody and they've shown interest, and then you followed up with them, and then you hear crickets because they don't, how often do y'all follow up with prospects? Because I guess everybody kind of does it different, and I don't know if there's like a actual idea of how often you follow up or not.
I usually do it on a monthly basis, and often I will get crickets, and then maybe they'll see a post and suddenly write me, but a lot of times it's still just crickets. So maybe the first follow-up would be about a week, and then I'll give it 2 weeks, and then I'll give it a month. And try to come at it differently every single time to see if it strikes their interest. A lot of times they want to do it, and the crickets are them fighting and warring with themselves, even though that's not what it feels like on our end. But there's also Jody, Amanda, Beth Ann. Do you guys have any thoughts on that? Oh, I can't ask Beth Ann. She can type. I put you on the spot there. Sorry about that. Jody, how about you?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
What was the question again? I'm sorry. I was trying to get one of my ladies on here, and I can't multitask very good.
You're fine. Just following up. How often do you follow up? And when you get crickets, what do you do with it?
Okay, when I get crickets, I typically just let it go for a week or two, and then I'll get back on and just be like, hey, what's going on? Do you have any more questions that I might be able to help you with? Or if you ask the question on what's wrong with them or whatever, go find if you come up on a testimony or something that you think that they can relate to really good, I get that and I say, hey, I found this testimony. I thought of you. I thought maybe it's something that you could connect with, and I just wanted you to read it, and I'll give that to them.
I like that.
That's what I do.
Yeah, I like that too.
Testimonies help. Stories sell. That's true.
Right. And two, I'll tell you, I'm pretty much friends with pretty much everybody that I know that does Plexcess. And a lot of times the way I do my stuff is I ask for feedback all the time from my ladies. And then when they send it to me, I tell them how thankful I am for everything that they send me. So that encourages them to send me their results, because I love it. When they send me a result and they're I get so excited. And so then I post it. If you see something that I've posted, hey, snapshot it and say, hey, look, this girl right here is having these results from something that you've had. I can put you in contact with her if that's something that you think that you might be able on how she's taking her products or what she's taking or how she's doing it and get the right results. That's kind of just something.
I love it. Does that help, Chrissy?
Yeah, that did help. I've had several that I follow up with them, or I'll even get them to the point where they're like, oh, I think I'm going to try the Slim. And then trying to come back after that and, asking, well, are you going to order? Are you not going to order? I've had those that are saying, we're going to order. Sorry, I have a.
You're fine. It's a family business. No, I get that. Sometimes it's the closing that's hard.
Right.
Actually, in Team Plexcess, I think there's a call about closing, because that's a big deal for everybody. It's hard to do that, to ask for the sale. And Leslie,
you don't want to come across pushy. That's the thing. Right. I'm like, I don't want to come across pushy, but at the same time, I want to be a little bit pushy. But
right, you just want to have a healthy balance. I get that. That's hard to do.
Try
I would look up how people close. You can Google that or look up how Plexcess people close. I love watching those videos. People have so many suggestions, these ambassadors on how to do it, and it's kind of enlightening sometimes.
What I was going to say too is you can try to come off as joking, because I have a big personality, so I joke a lot. And so I'll just say, hey, are we going to do this? Like, I'll send them a message, or I'll like snapshot and be like, what's up? We going to do this or what? Like, I'm tired of waiting on you. But I have that personality where they know me. So when I send them something like, okay, what's going on? You doing it or what? And then they'll just say like, well, no, like they'll come in and give me something. But then I'm like, well, I'm not going to leave you alone. It's either going to be next week or the next week, but I'm going to keep on to you till you can come, but they get my personality. So, which a lot of serious person might come off as me being pushy, but
probably not though. No, I love that. I definitely take on, I have one of those personalities too. You just say whatever and people are like, oh, that's just Liz or that's just Jody,
Right,
so if you have that personality, use it to your advantage because people love that,
Right.
If you don't and you're a really quiet person, there's people out there that are really quiet that are getting sales and they're doing it every day.
Right.
So you just have to hunt it down, look for that. And don't stay true to yourself. I think a lot of what's lost is that we don't stay true to ourselves when we're selling. We try to come off as a different person. And it's just not helpful at all. You just got to stay true to yourself. Whatever you do it well. So just keep doing it. Hey, Ashley, I saw your little comment there. Can you hear us?
Yeah.
Oh, she's nodding, maybe not. Beth Ann, she says she's still building a customer base, but contacting people a few times over a week or two and then letting things go for a month. Stories, yes. So she agrees. Stories are a big deal. If she sees or hears a story that's similar to a prospect's need, then send it to them regardless of when I last sent something. So it doesn't matter. If you see that, then it reminds you of that person, send it to them. Always try to keep the relationship going as well. So ask how their family is, etc. That's a really good point. Very important to maintain the relationship going. Oh, you're going to get a call recap, Ashley. Yeah, sorry about that. It was 7 tonight, Central Time.
Elizabeth, can you hear me?
Yeah, Teresa, how are you?
Teresa, hey. You recognize my voice. I'm on calling in. But something that works for me, and I shared this with Melissa this week, and she used it, and she said, wow, that does work. But if you have somebody that just doesn't respond to you and you're thinking, just the crickets, like you guys were talking about. If you'll say something to the effect of, I hope I didn't offend you, or I hope I didn't say anything to offend you. Even if you didn't, even if you didn't, a lot of times it's going to make them feel really bad for not responding to you, and they'll at least tell you kind of where they're at. A lot of times they're going to respond back to you.
Mm-hmm.
Say, oh, I haven't heard from you. I hope I didn't say anything to offend you.
I love that. I've used that one before too. Thanks for that reminder, because that's important. You want to make sure you're not offending people. I love that. So yeah, ask them. Make sure if you feel like you may have offended them, just ask. What's it going to hurt at that point?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And most of the time you haven't. It's pretty much just a line to open that door up again, because they're going to be like, oh no, I've been busy. I've had this and that going on. And so most of the time you haven't, but it's just that link to open that door back up.
Yes. Amen to that. That was a good one. I need to write that down and remember. I feel like I do that because I'm always worried if I'm offending people. I don't want to be offending people. I just say my mind, but yeah, that's a great way to, because they don't want you to feel like you offended them. Nobody wants that. So they're probably going to reply to that message. The likelihood of that is great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I learned that from some of the top leaders. I can't remember, some video I watched, and it was working really well for them. And so I tried it, and then I passed it on to Melissa, and she had luck with it too. So it really does work.
Good deal. Good. Yes. And the leaders, the jewels and the people who are really doing well in this business, they've got videos on YouTube. Don't hesitate to go and watch them every once in a while, just to be inspired of like, okay, this is another way to do this. That helped me a lot. Just realizing there are other ways and that people have really great ideas. So definitely YouTube that stuff. I think it's important. You should always be working on personal development and understanding the minds and hearts of people. And to understand that, to listen to other leaders is really helpful. because they figured stuff out. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. So I encourage you, do that. Any other questions? Or anybody have anything to add to that? How to deal with crickets and follow-ups? Okay. Guys, I felt like that was good. I feel like the questions just need to keep happening so we can all just keep encouraging each other. Thanks for that, Chrissy. All right. Well, I've recorded tonight, so it'll be available. I'll comment that with the Google Calendar. I'm going to comment that, and the tracking sheet, and the duplication is key document. So you guys can grab that out of the comments there, and they're also in the files of Team Plexcess, so you can find them at any time. And the planner, just remember, you guys can still get your planner. If you haven't gotten it yet, get that planner, because we're going to do a post at some point. I'm positive this post is going to happen. Who all got their planner? And if you don't get to comment with a picture of your planner, you're going to be like, ah, get that planner. Okay. All right. I think we're done. If you guys have any other questions, just shoot them our way. We're excited to learn and grow together. So, don't be afraid to ask questions where we can help, as people have been doing it longer to get a lot of input. So don't be afraid of that. We're all one big happy family. Okay, guys, I'll let you get back to your Monday evening. Thanks for being on. I appreciate that. I'll talk to you guys later.
Bye.
Bye.